Hi, my name is Luis Picasso,
I'm Lance Luciani.
and the topic we're presenting on is mindsets. So what is a mindset? It is defined in the book as a cognitive framework to guide one's attention, information processing, and decision making, and thinking about the meaning of effort, success, failure, and one's own personal qualities. Mindset number 1 is deliberative versus implemental. People with a deliberative mindset think about what they would like to do. What do I want? What is the most desirable thing to do in this situation? They have an open-minded way of thinking to consider the desirability and feasibility of a range of possible goals that one might or might not want to pursue. And a person with an implemental mindset has a post-decisional, closed-minded way of thinking that considers only information related to goal attainment and shields against non-goal related considerations. Could you go back? So, someone with a deliberative mindset weighs their options, and someone with an implemental mindset has a closed-minded way of thinking that just thinks on that one goal, and it shuts away all non-goal related considerations. So the consequences of deliberative versus implemental mindsets. The implemental mindset is more conducive to goal striving than the deliberative mindset because they persist longer. Mindset number 2 is promotion versus prevention. A promotion mindset. People with a promotion mindset focus on advancing the self towards ideals by adopting an eager locomotion, focus on positive outcomes, eager growth, advancement, and think that all that matters in life is making good things happen. And someone with a prevention mindset has a focus on preventing the self from not maintaining one's duties and responsibilities by adopting a vigilant behavioral strategy. And they're sensitive to negative outcomes, preventing bad things to happen. And so people have different definitions of success. One person might think that something good has happened once they have success, and they see failure as nothing being gained. But someone with a promotion focus, to them, success means that the presence of a gain, the person strives for a positive outcome, and failure does not have special meaning and is not motivating. Someone with a prevention focused mindset thinks that success means the absence of a loss. They strive to maintain a satisfactory state. Success does not have a special meaning, and failure means a loss and a painful change has occurred. Okay, so mindset number 3 is growth versus fixed. I'm gonna talk a lot about this subject because I read an article on growth versus fixed. People with a growth mindset believe that their personal qualities are changeable attributes, that they can grow, increase, and strengthen their qualities, and that the more effort they put in, the more they will grow. And people with a fixed mindset believe that their personal qualities are fixed attributes. You either have it or you don't. These people are entity theorists that believe that whatever skill they have, that's what they have, and they can't improve it. Someone with a growth mindset believes that nothing is set in stone, that every challenge is a great opportunity to grow and sharpen their skills. And even if the person fails from time to time, the person sees that outcome as a learning experience, and as a result from this mindset, these people can reach higher and higher levels of achievement because they're not limiting themselves. Someone with a fixed mindset believes that their intelligence is something given, and he or she cannot change it in any meaningful way. And even worse, he or she looks at every challenge, evaluates whether it helps them maintain his or her smart image, or if it doesn't. They tend to reach far less than they are capable of because they are afraid of taking great challenges, so they limit themselves. So, life depends on your views. Depending on how you view your certain abilities, these mindsets shape a great deal of your behavior, your reactions to certain professional or personal events, and at the end, even your capability of happiness. So why do some people develop a growth mindset and why do others develop a fixed mindset? The reason some people develop either mindset has to do with the way they were praised when they were young. The kids whose parents or teachers praise their talents develop the fixed mindset eventually, because these kids connect the feeling of love and being appreciated with being talented. So then they end up trying their best to be talented, or at least look as if they were talented. Failing doesn't really fit into the image of being a talented person, so they do their best to avoid challenges. But while avoiding challenges, they can't grow to their full potential. So how do growth mindset individuals develop their mindset? Those parents and teachers who praise their efforts instead of their skills or talents, that's the reason these kids develop the growth mindset. They have connected the positive emotions with the effort. So they take on bigger and bigger challenges, and even when they fail, they see it as an opportunity. They see it as growth and are happy to learn from the experience. You're next.
Avoidance, motivation, and ill-being is a fear of failure. People avoid making mistakes or avoid embarrassing themselves, adopt performance avoidance goals, and it eventually affects overall well-being. So basically, you just develop a habit of not wanting to fail and not wanting to be embarrassed and stuff. So then you eventually build a habit of not trying things, and it affects your overall well-being. Mindset number 4 is cognitive dissonance. When beliefs about who the self is and what the self does are inconsistent, people experience a psychologically uncomfortable state referred to as cognitive dissonance. One of the subcategories is choice. People often have to choose between two options. Some choices are easy because the advantages are obvious and outweigh the disadvantages. And some people, when they are making a decision, they decide to look at the decision they made, and regardless of if it was a good or bad decision, they will start to justify what they've chosen being positive and looking at it positively to make themselves feel better about what they chose. But regardless of the choice, post-decision makers are more confident in their choices as compared to those that are still in the decision-making process. Next category is insufficient justification. An individual utilizes internal motivation to justify a behavior. An example, people are asked why they donated money. Their answer would simply be, I'm generous. Or if someone was asked why they picked up litter off the ground, they might say, I'm an environmentalist, just to justify their action for what they're doing, even if it's not really supported. Effort justification, a person's tendency to attribute a value to an outcome greater than the objective value of the outcome. So some examples are extreme stuff like the military, fraternities, and sororities. You have to do a lot of things to be accepted that are extreme, and some people, to justify that, would say, I must really love this, and that's why I do it. New information is when a person may use new information to disconfirm what they believe, while others may use new information as a test or obstacle in further proving what they believe. Self-perception theory. People develop change their beliefs for a reason that does not involve a mindset. So usually something that you will observe or notice can help you start to think a different way. So it's simply off self-observation. Self-perception applies best when a person's beliefs are vague, ambiguous, and weak. When they don't really have a strong foundation on what they believe, then they could see something and their ideas or their mind is easily changed. This is an article we found that involves risk perception and risk-taking behavior, mostly implemental and deliberative mindsets. So we'll go to the next slide. They performed a couple experiments, and they wanted to investigate the downstream consequences of activating deliberative versus implemental mindsets on risk perception and risk-taking behavior. So what they did was they did a couple of things to put people in a deliberative mindset or in a implemental mindset, and then follow with some experience once they're in those mindsets. And they hypothesized that the participants in an implemental versus deliberative mindset arrive at more optimistic judgments about their own risks of experiencing negative life events compared to other people's risks. So what they did was they gave some people some questionnaires and surveys and stuff to get them to start thinking. One of the ones they did was they asked people to encounter a real life problem, and then later they asked them, to think of some steps in order to resolve that problem, and they wanted to get them in that mindset of thinking negative. And then what they did was they used the BART procedure, which consisted of these virtual balloons on a computer, and every time you hit the space bar, the balloon would expand a certain amount, and it would also add money, but if you did it too much, the balloon would pop. So they wanted to test to see how far people would go once they were in a certain mindset. And what they found is that participants in an implemented mindset, as compared to deliberative mindset, were much less at risk of encountering negative life events. Individuals in a deliberative mindset were actually also prone to the formation of strong illusionary optimism to begin with. So before the experiment even started. And with the balloon procedure, the people in the deliberative mindset pumped the balloons less often, and so therefore engaged in decreased risk-taking behavior compared to the people in the implemental mindset. So overall, it suggested that the action phase-related mindsets affect how individuals perceive and take risks. So once, after they did the surveys and once they were in these mindsets, it affects how they perceive risks. And it was also observed that compared to individuals planning the implementation of a chosen project, participants weighing the pros and cons of making a decision exhibit more realistic risk perceptions and less risk-taking behavior, even when the task paradigm offers monetary. So even if there's money involved, it didn't make a difference on the outcome. And these are our references.
And that's it.